What up, y'all? This is Davey D, Oakland, California. We all got a story to tell, a lesson to learn. This is my story. What up, y'all? This is Davey D. This is my story from my mouth.
There's someone somewhere right now watching this
Right.
that is probably inspired to get into politics or the music business, and they just getting on the road to success. You 50,000 miles ahead of them. What potholes can you tell them to look out for?
Well, if you're creating something, make sure you own everything you create. And your mindset has got to be that you're going into business with somebody, you're not working for somebody. Even if you're working for somebody, you still want to have in your mind that you are working with them, that you are providing a service and you're getting compensated for that service. In terms of your creativity, always figure out a way to own your stuff. So I've written for newspapers before, and those newspapers have been, we own your columns. And my thing has been, I'll take less money, but I own my writing. That's wealth for me and my family. So own your stuff. You may, usually most documentaries, I record myself and I keep copies of that. You know, that's your intellectual stuff. So always figure out how you can own or have at least a portion of what you create. Don't ever give it all away. And finally understand that your experience is very valuable. People, especially with black folks, they tend to make us feel like, you know, we grew up in certain parts of town, so we're less than. We talk a certain way, we dress a certain way. All that is stuff that everybody else soaks up, and then they commodify, make money off it. You know, the hardships we go through become the plots for TV shows and become the themes for songs and become, you know, entertainment for folks. So these things, you know, take account of them, know them intimately, embrace them, and know that your experience is more valuable than the people that are trying to soak game off you. So, you know, own as much as you can. And I don't mean it in a greedy way. I don't mean it like, you know, you're trying to stockpile, but what I'm saying is own it so you can control it. Own it so that you can pass it down to your kids. You were talking about regrets. One regret, which is outside of business but very much related, is that my grandma used to sit me down and she'd have her little whiskey and she'd be like, sit down, I'm gonna tell you something. And she'd talk and talk and talk. And, you know, be like, God damn, you know, and she wouldn't let you leave. She'd just talk and talk. But she would tell us, as we were getting older, said that breakdance stuff ain't shit. It's like, what? It's like, yeah, all that spinning on your head, that ain't shit. Because a real good dancer could do that and more with a partner. What are you talking about? And she'd be bragging like, when I came up, we did flips and all that. It's like, what are you talking about, Grandma? You know, no appreciation for it. Come to find out that she was one of those people that was dancing at the Savoy Manor. She was one of them Lindy Hoppers. She was one of them people that got busy like that. And so all those stories about coming up in Harlem didn't capture it. Some of them a little long-winded. Some of them been around a little too much, but there's some wisdom to be gleaned from the people who went down the path before you. So you want to learn some of that. This is basically what this project is about. Like somebody's a little older is giving some information for somebody who's younger, right? Capturing some of these moments on film, but there's a million stories around you. So I'm in Oakland right now. You know how many Black Panther stories there are? You know how many stories about the Mac there is? There are people whose parents were extras in that movie. There are people that really knew the characters that movie was based on. There are people that are Panthers that, you know, dealt with the police in ways that we didn't. all that stuff is information that they passed on to us in a younger generation, but then they're historical moments right now. So we got to take that information and have conversations with other folks, who are younger. So don't take the moment that you're in for granted, but also appreciate those who went before you and ask them those questions. Like, what was it like in the 90s? What was it like in the 80s, during the crack era? What was it like in the 70s, during the soul era, in the 60s? Because those moments, society doesn't capture them for us as black folks to really know for ourselves. They capture it for other people to soak up, and they make it a commodity, but the important things are gone. Like, what did we eat in the 70s? How do we dance? Who are our favorite groups? We know about the Jackson Fives, but did we know about the Silvers, right? We know about the Silvers, but did we know about, the group that was on your corner that was doing things? The Together Brothers, if you're in Oakland, or Fantastic Five if you're in the Bronx, right? Those become important landmarks for all of us to build around. And that's our gold. That's our oil, that's our wealth, that's our cultural heritage that we got to keep for ourselves. So everybody got a story to tell. Everybody got a legacy that needs to be uplifted, and it's up to us to soak it up and pass it on.
What is your focus in life and in business today?
My focus is to be grounded, is to survive this storm, make sure the family survives the storm that we're going through. And I mean economic, political upheaval, all this stuff is crazy right now. So we're trying to make sure we make head to tail, make sure my kids are prepared and they're able to survive, and nurturing them. They're showing signs of, son wants to play drums and guitars and DJ, taking time to show that. Or daughter wants to write and film, taking time to do that. That's important. Probably, man, to be honest, we're looking at what's happening outside of this country. The best piece of advice I got was from Chuck D. He kept telling me, get a passport, get a passport, get a passport. Every time he see me, did you get your passport? And he said, once you get it, start traveling. And I would tell you that's the best advice I really got. Travel as much as you can, see the world. If you can live in another place, do so. There's a lot more going on outside this country than you would, than you can really fully appreciate until you get to those other spots. Go to the continent, go south of the border, because our people are all south there too, right? They're just not in Africa. They're in Mexico, they're in Central America, they're all over. See as much of the world as you possibly can. Uplift your humanity, and I don't mean it to be philosophical, but at this moment in time when dehumanizing people is like the main thrust of how things are operating, uplifting your humanity is a breath of fresh air. So you want to do that, and that's what I'm really trying to do. Stay focused, stay spiritually grounded, and when I say survive, I'm not talking like woe is me, like I got a load on my back. I'm talking about being able to be in a position where, man, you don't feel like you're trapped. Get out of the traps. There's a lot of them going on, so that's what we're trying to make sure we do. What up, y'all? This is Davey D, Oakland, California. We all got a story to tell, a lesson to learn. This is my story.